All right, guys. So now we're going to go into Manny's approach of how he does keyword research. You've already seen mine, and then I'll be showing you other people's approaches as time goes on. There's no fixed answer. There's no one way to do it. But these ways, pretty much any of these will work, and do whatever you find to be easiest for yourself. So let's walk into check out Manny's approach.
Yeah, I don't have any fancy screenshots or slides or anything. We're doing this just kind of on the fly. I can tell you, though, we'll have a conversation here on how I do things, and I'm curious as to how you do things. But when I'm doing my keyword research, and let me go back into Magnet here and just load something up. We'll just open up this bird binoculars one as an example. I like to take things and put them into 4 categories. So I'll spend a lot of time, by the way, going through all these keywords. I'll explore.
How long does your keyword research take, you think?
More than a day. The first day, I know that sounds crazy, right? Because I know people that just bang through it in like 30 minutes and they're finished. They just copy everything. I go through and first of all, I'll go through all 1,800 of these keywords. I will literally go through and however long it takes me to go through and get rid of stuff that I just don't think is relevant or is just not going to work. Or maybe the exact phrase search volume is so low that I'm just like, it doesn't make sense to have in there. But then I'll categorize everything into 4 things. So I'll have like, super relevant is the first category. Then I have relevant. Then I have somewhat relevant. And then I have like not relevant. So those are the 4 categories. I guess there's a 5th one that would be like just don't use, like not good, right? So the super relevant for bird binoculars, for example, that you see on the screen here, would be the word bird binoculars. That's going to be like at the very beginning of my title, right? I mean, that is what my product is. Okay. Best bird binoculars. That's what my product is. So whatever the phrase is, as long as it's got bird binoculars, it's probably going to be super relevant. And I usually use this with tactical flashlights because people can figure that. Actually, can I use flashlights? That might be easier for
everybody
has a flashlight. Before. Okay, yep. So a tactical flashlight, right? A tactical flashlight's my main keyword. A flashlight would be like the relevant. It is a flashlight. It's a very specific flashlight. I have a tactical flashlight, but a flashlight or an LED flashlight, those are, not super relevant, but they're relevant, right? Then I've got somewhat relevant, which would be maybe like a night light. I always like to say, right? So a night light, that's what a flashlight is. But so is an outdoor candle, and so is a garage door opener light. Those are all night lights. So you've got to be mixed in more broadly with everything. And then not that relevant, right? Is going to be things I still might use in my listing, maybe in the description or somewhere, but it's going to be things that are kind of like a tactical pen or a police baton or something that somebody might buy with my police binoculars.
Oh, yep.
Not police binoculars, bird binoculars and police. Yeah, I'm getting all messed up. A tactical flashlight, because somebody that's looking for tactical gear might want something else that's tactical. So, and you'll see these when you run when you run Magnet or you run Cerebro, you'll see some of these products show up because these products are actually ranking for those words. Now, something completely unrelated, if it said Darth Vader, I'd be like, that's not part of my thing. I wouldn't even use that. So I categorize things in those 4 main categories. And then I go in, and you ask how long it takes. I'll leave those and I'll come back hours later or the next day and I'll go through them again because I have a fresh mind, fresh look. You know how it is, right? Where you've been looking at something for hours and it all makes sense. You leave and you come back and you're like, oh my God, that looks terrible. It reads terrible. Or my title that's not good. So I will then take all the super relevant stuff that goes in my title. I try to get as much of it into my title as possible. The relevant stuff, I'll mix into the bullet points. For sure, somewhat relevant will go in the back end, the keywords in the back end typically, and then the not relevant will get peppered out through wherever else I can. I'll sometimes the second level one, the relevant, I'll sometimes not only put in the bullet, I'll also sometimes put in the back end or maybe even the title, depending on the search volume. Search volume is important.
Yep. Okay. So are you organizing these and somehow? All right. So we just talked about processing. We'll get to the keyword research in a little bit, but it's important to go through your keyword research. It sounds like knowing ahead of time how you're going to process them instead of just gathering. Is that where like you kind of already got your set plan ahead of time before you gather?
Right. So, and I'll give you let me pull this up. I'm actually, only want to show phrases that contain the word bird binoculars, because bird binoculars is super relevant to my product, right? That's what my product is. So I
Yep.
apply this, and there's only five things that show up out of that entire list of what it was, like 1,800 or whatever it was. Look at the exact phrase search volume here. Okay. This one down here, kids bird binoculars. If my product is for kids, then I could say that's super relevant, but it only gets 26 searches per month. Okay. That's it. So I'm probably not going to put kids bird binoculars in my title, even though it's super relevant. I, unless the word kids was in some other keyword phrase, that actually gets a lot of search volume. This is when you have to use your human brain to come in and say, okay, I can't obviously get all 5 of these things in my title, probably, at least not an exact phrase match. So which ones do I really want? So bird binoculars gets 946 searches per month. So I'm going to for sure use that. Now, obviously, if I put kids bird binoculars, I do get bird binoculars in there, right? It's this. So it wouldn't hurt to have that, because then I would have this phrase and I'd have this phrase. As long as it's in the right order, you again, your human brain, you can be smart about it. Bird binoculars watching, you just have to go through it. Again, bird binoculars. I don't know why I picked this phrase. It's a weird phrase. But yeah, if you find the right thing, you just got to go through. I look at the exact search phrase volume. I'll sometimes look at the IQ score. I know you're really big with the IQ score, which, by the way, guys, determines how much search volume there is relative to competition. So the bigger the number, the better. Which in this case, bird binoculars has a bigger number, so that's cool.
Yep.
Yeah, it works out.
Yeah. Okay. So that's how you find your super relevant ones, and then now, like, you just kind of go through your whole keyword list that you have from everything else, then, and kind of sort it out.
Yeah. So I'll manually, and I probably need to develop a tool for this and we've talked about this, where I could, if everybody was doing it my way, like my method, then I could say, yeah, let's add it to the tool, but everybody has their own way. But I would love to be able to go through every single keyword and very quickly say super relevant, not relevant, super relevant, right? And select all these things. And then it outputs to an Excel sheet perfectly. And then I can then go through it and determine what I'm going to use and and how I'm going to use it. But right now it's kind of a manual process, and it should take a while, guys, because this is super important, right? That's like opening up a restaurant. Let's say if you did that, and you're now working on where you're going to plant all your signs that point people to your restaurant, right? If you do it wrong, people don't find your restaurant. You go broke. And this is what you're doing. You're creating signs right now towards your listing. That's what people are typing into the search field. And if you're not popping up, if you're not showing up, they don't find your page. You get killed.
I like that analogy. I've never thought about it like that, but that's really good. So, yeah. Okay, so all right, so that's how you're going through and you're analyzing and then doing all of that. But then how do you actually well, I guess we'll make this a separate video then. So this one we've talked about kind of how you sort and filter down, and then you'll have to get all of that data and then make your listing based off what is most prioritized. So in the next video, or I guess we'll add the video before, but we'll talk about how you actually gather them.